Okay, you do it.
3, 2, 1.
Business news, kadak like chai.
With every sip, there's a new untold story.
This is Corporate Chai, and I'm Saanvi.
I'm Haniah.
And today's case, Haniah, it's a very interesting case that I've really been researching since like 3-4 months. It's piqued my interest so much. And okay, you know what? Let's just get into the case, and then we both can figure it out. Let's just get into the case. I'll cut it out for it.
Okay.
Chapter 1, Introduction. So HMT Watches, that's the case study we're going to be doing today. HMT Watches, the full form of HMT is Hindustan Machine Tools Limited. Okay, and this watch was like wrist candy. It was like wrist candy royalty to the normal people. Okay, like can you believe the watch designs were so classy, Haniah? I'm telling you, like I'll pull up pictures if I can, but they were so classy and they were so timeless. That's what I'm saying. And when I found out that this business kind of flopped a bit, and I was so sad because they had a good product and they definitely had a good market share at that time. So so basically this company was born in 1961, okay, and it was a collab between Japanese Citizen Watch Co. and Hindustani, machine HMT basically, HMT Limited. So HMT Limited was a government-owned, it was a public company, right? So what happened? The government were controlling this. I feel like that was also one of the reasons why it failed to succeed, because the government was running. I'm not okay. Nothing against the government, guys. Like I mean, they're amazing now. But back then it was slower than a 2G network, just because the government was in on it. The development of this was really bad, right? So this watch was so culturally significant at its time. Okay, it was like the time teller of the working class, the Indian uncles, and the newly promoted officers. Like they catered to every class of people, and that I feel like that was actually really amazing. If you want to describe this watch, it was luxury with a side of humility. That's the most apt way I can kind of sum up what this watch actually was. And the first, the first batch of okay, so basically to give you all like some context, these watches weren't like the battery run ones that we have right now. We had like, if you don't use it for a long period of time, you had to like hand wind it yourself, and those were called self-winding watches, if I'm not wrong. So self-winding watch, right?
Hand-wound watches.
Hand-wound watches. Yeah, guys. Haniah knows, guys. Haniah knows. Hand-wound watches. That's such a tongue twister, no? Hand-wound watches. So they were called hand-wound watches. Okay. The first batch of these were released by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, and it was, it was seen, even. Even Indira Gandhi was also seen wearing them, Jawaharlal Nehru, all these big people who were very significant in Indian times and in politics back then were seen wearing the HMT watches. That's how significant they were at that time. Okay. And also, Haniah, this is like a fun fact, guys. They had a factory in Bangalore too, and now currently it's in Jalahalli, if I'm not wrong. So now currently it's a museum of the old HMT watches. You can go see it. Like I feel like you guys should check it out, and Haniah, we should check it out too. Haniah did. Yeah.
So the business model of HMT watches, how did they come to arise? Now these HMT watches were very popular for the way they looked. They were classy, they were iconic, they were stylish, and everything back in those days, they were very trendy, Saanvi. They were very trendy. Okay, so basically what we need to know about these watches is that they had this particular model called the Janta, which literally means in Hindi, the citizens or the people. Now this showed how it catered to the people of India, to the people of this country. So in this Janta watches, what we see is that they had like massive sales growth. They had 150 million watches sold.
Oh my god!
Crazy, right?
Yeah, 150 million, yo.
But like these watches, particularly this model, had an issue which Saanvi already spoke about, which is that you had to hand wound them whenever they were not used for a long period. So you had to do it daily. It was a ritual, like how you see Saanvi sleeping in class.
Hey, I don't see every class now, it's only Hindi class, okay? Guys, if you know, you know, guys.
You never know, guys.
That was only today, Haniah, because I was tired of editing yesterday.
Okay. So, and accounts and business and
I'll beat you. Guys, I promise I study well. Hania's just exaggerating.
No, she studies well, but she also sleeps in class. I want to say something.
I want to focus on your face.
Okay. Anyways, so these watches soon came out of the trend because all they had to them was a black wrist band and a little bit of gold with Hindi color, Hindi numbers and all of those.
Oh yeah, I sent a picture of that to Hania. I'm so glad you remember that, Hania. Good going. I sent her, so I was researching this case and then Hania and I were on call. And then I just sent her a picture. I was like, bro, Hania, let me see what these watches actually look like. And then I looked up and then I saw the Janta. I looked up the Janta specifically because the sales were, that was the most sold watch. And I saw the Janta, it was like a yellow colored dial and the numbers were in Hindi. And then it was like, it was so simple and it kind of like Hania told me, it was like it reminded her of an olden days Mumbai taxi.
Yeah, like I saw it and it was yellow and like black and
Yeah,
it just
yeah,
looked like those
vans.
Bombay taxis from those old movies.
Yeah. And then, but it looked so good. Like I don't know, it looked.
Guys, spoiler alert, Saanvi doesn't know how to read Hindi numbers.
Hey, okay. Bro, yeah. Hey, as if we both don't know, right? We both don't know, yeah.
Diya, what is 48 in Hindi?
That is not, bro, that's 18 or something. Guys, that's our behind the scenes crew.
Anyways, guys, so continuing. Now, what other models did they have? They had the Kanchan. Now, the Kanchan was like this. By the name only, you can tell it's a very shadi vibe. Shadi vibe. Sorry.
Hania, you know what we should do? We should do this thing where we should have like one counter, one compilation of Hania making gay jokes on the thing.
It's not gay jokes, guys. I just
Pyar jokes.
Yeah.
Pyar jokes.
I'm sorry. Okay. The Kanchan watches. So basically, these were also known as the dowry watches because here it was a symbol of status. Anyone who had this watch was from the upper class, and they had this, that their bride side was wealthy enough to give them this beautiful watch.
Oh.
Guys, dowry is a wrong thing.
Yeah, we're not promoting dowry in any sort of way. We're just highlighting the fact that it was.
Yeah, a part of the Indian culture at the time. Okay, and these Kanchan watches were so important in this wedding functions that there were incidents that people would cancel their wedding because of not having the availability of these watches. Those red color saris with like the gold borders. You know how iconic and stylish they are, how classy they are. Exactly the same way were the HMT watches.
Chapter 3. The Fall. National Pride to Forgotten Auntie. Yeah, so again, I had some fun naming this chapter. So what I want to highlight is HMT watches were in an accident. They were a slow burn romance, guys. They were slow burn tragic romance. So then HMT watches, the reason why they didn't kind of take off, not take off, wait, what am I saying?
Like shoot up.
No. It shot up in sales. It kind of became outdated. That was what I was looking for. Yeah, ulta. So it kind of fell in sales after a certain amount of time because the world was updating to more sleek watches, to more like better looking watches, and more analog. No, the more digital watches. Yeah, HMT was an analog watch. So the basic difference between an analog watch and a digital watch is a digital watch it's battery powered and stuff like that. What I'm wearing right now is an analog watch, right? So what I'm wearing,
it doesn't work, guys.
Hey, that's not who asked? It's stuck at 310 since like 2 years, bro. Anyways, now Hania, now the chai gets garma garam because there's a new competitor in town, Titan watches. Everyone has a Titan watch in their house, no matter where you are. Titan, I feel like Titan became the new HMT, right? But if you think about it, Titan did become the new HMT. Like the collections that they had, and I'm not saying they were inspired or they took inspiration or they tried to copy HMT, but I'm just saying that their business model was so impressive that it took down the iconic HMT watches that were worn by Jawaharlal and all of them, it was like, you know, they kind of surpassed their supremacy.
And I think HMT wasn't flexible enough
Mm-hmm.
to like
Yeah, you can
switch.
say, yeah. And I feel like they kind of stuck to their whole idea of being classy and timeless. I mean, I'm not saying, I mean, if that's your thing, just go for it. But they were being too rigid and they didn't cater to the market needs of the consumers enough. Yeah, people kind of got tired of it because, you know, the times changed and then people got more busier. They had less and less amount of time. And Titan realized the gap in that market, and it just slid in like that, slid in as smooth as Haniah, guys. Yeah. Okay, this is the Haniah effect. This is the Haniah effect. This is the Haniah effect, guys. I'm making all jokes like this because of Haniah. Guys. So in 1981, HMT also did try to take over the market. In 1981, they did release 2 watches. I think one of the watches name was Vijay, but I'm not sure. So so in 1981, HMT tried to adapt and they made quartz watches, which were battery powered, but they failed because Titan watches had too much of a grip on the market at that point in time in 1981. And I feel like Titan was stealing people from the HMT cult one wrist at a time.
So, Titan versus HMT. So, in that era of hand-worn watches, this Titan came up like that brand ambassador like Shah Rukh Khan and walked in. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna change the game. And that really caught HMT in the red light. They really needed to go ahead with their designs, their patterns, and moreover, this HMT watch was basically based on this hand-wound system, right? And people's priorities kept increasing. People wanted to do other things other than just waking up and
yeah.
As you can see, automation kept taking more and more space in people's life as we keep going on from generations to generations, right? So now we have battery powered watches, and HMT did not change. It wanted to keep that trademark of having all of their watches completely analog and manual in function. So that's when Titan came ahead and they were like, you know what, we're gonna change the game. They got quartz watches, they got battery powered watches, they got automated watches, and then they had a number of other things that really took them ahead of HMT watches. Now that happened in 1983. Post that era, like post that time, there was another thing that came into India as such, which I would call the economic reforms in 1991, which really changed the game and the patterns of how India has been branding and other things as such, like, you know, building companies and building brands and all of that. So essentially what happened was a lot of foreign companies started coming in. There was Timex from America, there was Casio, there was Armani, there was Rolex, and so many competitors came in that I think HMT just succumbed to its place, and it was just caught up like, you know what, if I do anything different, I'm still going to be same as the other competitors. So it really niched itself in such a small category that it was never able to grow. So now only people from like the older generations, maybe hardly a few grandfathers also stuck to it. You know, most of the grandfathers like we're too ahead of our time.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 5. What could have saved HMT? So, like I said, I feel like all the points that I have, you know, written down right here, we've already kind of discussed it a bit because it's kind of repeated. Okay, it's all taken from what we've already said.
Yeah.
So if it feels
Repetitive.
it feels repetitive. Why did I glitch like that?
It's fine.
Okay, if it feels repetitive, then sorry guys. Okay. While the rest of the world was growing, HMT was still sipping chai on their rocking chair, and it was the wrong type of, you know, chill. It was the very wrong type of chill because
It turned into
and that was such a bad joke. I know my face when I'm going to be editing. I'm like, shit, do I even have to add this in? Okay. So now, what I want to highlight is a whole like a whole rebrand couldn't have even saved HMT. Oh, this was another thing I really thought of. Okay, they could have taken their old watches like the Janta that sold 150 million units, like Haniah said. They could have taken that watch and made like a nice little nostalgic twist to it, and they could have marketed it like, and globally. I'm saying it's not like HMT had people. They were catering only to people in India. No, they had a lot of global fame also. Yeah, they had a lot of global reach also. I know a lot of watch enthusiasts. When I went online and I was looking for reviews, people are so nostalgically talking about it. They're like, we want a revival, something. They just wanted something for like the good old fans wanted something, and I feel like HMT could have given them that, and they had so many opportunities that they just blindly missed a lot of them.
Even to like this day, since they have a museum, right? They could really bring back, how. Let's say there's so many replicas of so many things that are in the museum, and people really want to purchase it, but then that's not the original. But these people have original watches and a museum, so isn't it already like antique?
So what else they could have done, Haniah? They could have taken that not only Janata watch, they could have released limited editions of their classy old watches, and they could have created this sort of exclusivity that would have catered to a lot of people, and not even the high class people, even the middle class people would have gotten a little bit of FOMO, like seeing that, oh my god, it's like limited edition, HMT Watches revival and stuff, and they could have gotten a lot of global penetration through that. Yeah.
If they worked on their marketing, maybe from here they could be like here.
No, Haniah, they could have been like 6'4", Haniah, like from here to 6'4".
Like guys, 6'4".
Haniah secretly 6'4", you just can't see her legs, but she's 6'4", guys. Yeah.
Okay, guys. The sales of HMT watches have declined, but they still have that sense of pride and belonging to our Dadi and Dadu. That glint of nostalgia in their eye is like everything for me to look at. So, in my opinion, the HMT watches haven't just completely vanished yet. They have only been
misunderstood. Or when you want to say something, just keep your hand over here. Not. That's recorded. I'm putting it in the group. Hey, bye bye.
Bye.
Take off your book. Haniah, run. He was sipping chai on their. Still sipping chai on their. 3, 2, 1.